my barrel, I've got two barrel kilns you can see here that I use to fire raku and horsehair. I'm just using one right now. This is my older one. I'm trying to use it. When it goes belly up, then I'll switch to the other newer one that I bought from Lucy Springs when she was getting rid of some of her stuff. I've got the burner attached to a propane, and I've got the burner, because the wind's blowing so bad, I had to mask the burner so that the wind doesn't blow out the flame. I'm up to 1,481 degrees right now. I like to go to 1,600, and that gives me a chance to get the piece on the turntable and have just a half a second or so, or half a minute to be able to start the process of the horsehair. I have about 2 minutes to get the horsehair on the piece and burned before the piece gets too cold. And so you have to work sort of quickly when as you pull the pieces. I wanted to show you a couple of horsehair buckets. You know, you get horsehair from different people that have horses, and so if I do that, I just throw it in my box here, and I use this when I have people coming over to do horsehair or do some things. I'll pull out that box and use it that way. And I buy horsehair online, and it comes in a real nice configuration. You can buy a quarter of a pound. It's like for about $10. Comes out of Montana, and so I like to use that because it's already in line. Everything's together. So for $10, I can have horsehair to do quite a few pieces. What we're going to do, I've got horsehair pieces out that I'll show you after we pull a couple of pieces and get them working. So let me put this back up. And get it squared away to a point that let's see, I got to turn the camera back around, I think.
John, can I ask you a question while you're getting that set up?
You bet.
How long did it take you? How long does it usually take to get to your 1,600 degrees in that kiln?
You know, it takes about a half an hour. I started this at about 22 to 2, and it just depends on how fast you want to go. I don't like to go too fast as it warms up, so that the pots don't break. And if you'll notice on the pieces here, I've got, let me get the camera back on. I've got bricks here on the top that are warming up. And so as they warm up, I'll pull one of those bricks off or shelves off and put on the turntable, so that when I pull a piece, I've got a hot piece on the turntable, so that the piece doesn't attach itself to a cold shelf and break. The clay I'm using is B-Mix, and it doesn't have any particular grit in it at this point, so it's pretty flex, pretty much can break real easy. And so I use try to get it as thin as I want it, and then just be careful with it during the process. And I'll lose a couple of pieces. Matter of fact, you can see pieces down here on the ground that I've lost, and stuff that is garden art for a while, and then I'll throw them away, type of a thing. So let's pull a piece. I think we're probably about there.
Mark, did you have a question? I can unmute you. Nope. Hold on. Maybe I can't.
Okay, let me get it set up so you can see some pieces there. I'm gonna move this tripod over here. I think it'll be better.
So John, I got a quick question while you're
Sure,
doing
go
that
ahead,
too.
Rich.
You mentioned B-Mix. Is this B-Mix Cone 5?
It's B-Mix Cone 10.
B-Mix Cone 10. So
Yeah.
are you biscuiting at a higher temperature than 06, right?
I'm bisking it to 08. I don't want it
08.
bisque. I don't want it bisque too hard because I want the horsehair to as we burn the horsehair in the piece, I want it to soak into the piece as much as possible. So 08 and some potters even fire their piece to 017. That stuff.
Okay.
So, but I've sort of zeroed in on 08. I have pretty good success at 08. So I just sort of kept on to using 08.
Thank you.
Important part is to wear gloves. Can everybody see the turntable? We're in good shape.
Yes.
I left the burners on at this point. I turned them down just a little so that it will continue to heat up. I've got 4 pieces in here. We can do a couple pieces. We don't need to do all 4 of them. But I'll take my horsehair. I like to do it individually or 1 or 2 pieces at a time. And then just start putting that across the piece. That wind's giving me fits. That's okay. We'll get there. So you just sort of use your artistic ability as you put that pieces on there, that they go where you want. More is actually, or less is actually pretty good. You can put a feather on too. And I like to put a little toilet paper inside of it. So the inside turns black. And as it starts burning, then I'll put a piece of shelf on it because I want the darkness on the inside. So the carbon from the burn and the smoke will turn that piece black inside. If it doesn't turn black, then I'll use India ink and put some India ink in there and India ink on the bottom of the piece also. And that turned pretty black. You can see on this piece, I've got mica that I put around here. It's a gold mica. So the top part has been shattered and then gold mica put on there. There's 2 types of mica. There's an inferience mica, which is white. You can't tell the difference in the color unless you put it on a black piece of paper. And then there's specific mica. And I use specific mica on this process. And it comes out, the color of the mica. I've got samples I'll show you in a minute. With any questions so far? I'm
Jill
gonna
had
let
a
that-
question if the horsehair is bleached or was it just a blonde horse?
Blonde horse.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, whether it's black, brown, or white. The horsehair will burn no matter what. Let's pull another piece and do another piece.
We'll put it right there.
Yeah. I had another quick question.
Yeah.
Do you burnish your pieces?
Oh, good question. Yes, I do. There's two types of way to get the burnishing effect. Number one is a baby oil and water and burnishing it with a spoon or a light bulb. That takes quite a while when you're dealing with 5 or 6 pieces. So I use a terra sigillata. I make a terra sigillata, and when the piece is bone dry, I'll put 2 coats of terra sigillata on it, and then burnish the terra sigillata, and it comes out real shiny, just like you burnish the piece, which is a lot easier than burnishing with a light bulb with oil and water, the type of a thing. So I'm going to check my temperature and pull another piece. I'm right at 1645, so I'm going to pull another piece.
Ask them, can they see it?
What's that?
Ask them, can they see it?
Didn't understand.
Ask them, can they see it?
Oh yeah, can you see that? Yeah, they can see
Yes.
it. They're good.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take some more horsehair, and we'll see what this does. I like to, as I put the horsehair on, I don't like to pull it straight. I like to just let the horsehair attach itself and give it a little extra. Now, if you'll notice on this piece, you'll notice that reddish. Can you see that reddish look in there? Or is the sun too bright? This piece on the outside, on the top, has mica. That is the red mica that I use. And on the outside, I'm experimenting with interference mica, which is the mica that you can't tell the difference in color if you're just looking at it. And this is a half a cup of terra sigillata with 12 grams of interference mica on it. And I think I need a little more mica on the terra sig to make that come out a little more reddish. With the sun shining, I can see some red coming out, but not the way I want it. So I'm sort of experimenting with the process. I ordered a bunch of mica from a company out of California, and that's getting there slow but sure. Now, the other process that I have on the bottom, I spray on ferric chloride, and I want the piece to be about 200 degrees before I spray the ferric chloride. Stand back over there out of the way.
Want me to move this?
There, that's good right there. Probably Johnny. Sorry, I had a phone call coming. We'll wait till I hang up so you can see.
John, what is that you're spraying on?
I'm spraying ferric chloride. And this ferric chloride, this particular bottle is reduced about 50% ferric chloride with water. And at about 200 degrees, the ferric chloride turns yellow. Gives me more of a yellow look to the piece. I like that yellow, the yellow look. And this is 100% ferric chloride, the second bottle. You see it's a little darker. I don't want too much on there. So I've got just a little variation in the piece. We'll let that cool down now to, right now it's at 132 degrees, whereas this piece is 348. So I'm going to take this piece. I never spray ferric chloride on a piece that's got interference mica, but I'm going to try it on this piece. We'll let it sit and cool, and then we'll take a look at it. Any questions so far? Should I pull another one, or should I explain some of the other things I've got on the other table?
There's a question from Richard about, have you tried spider webs?
Spider webs, I have not, Richard.
Wow, good idea.
Good, yeah. If I found some good spider webs, that may be something to really look into. I'm going to move this piece onto a shelf here on the ground. I'll pull one more because I got another one in there. And I think we're probably about temperature.
Okay.
Yeah, we're at 1690. So I'm going to pull another one.
Mark, did you have another question?
Yeah, I was going to write it in, but I was just going to ask him what the source is to buy the ferric chloride. I've been looking for that stuff all over the place, but I understand it's rather hard to come by in volume, like a gallon can be.
I ordered my last half gallon just on Amazon.
On Amazon.
Yeah. And it came in
Okay.
like 3 or 4 days.
Excellent.
I'll use some of this black horsehair on this piece. Ooh, that might have had too much horsehair there. The mane on a horse is a little thin as far as the hair is concerned, but it works good. And even some human hair works, but it's not as good as the horse. The horse is just has enough volume to it that it's just a little better. Let's put a feather on there. I collected feathers over the years when I was doing some Indian art. And so I've got a whole batch of feathers. That if you need any, let me know. I've got boxes of them. So we'll let this piece go. I want to put a little tissue in here to get the dark. This has got a gold mica on the top, on the shattering on the top. Good.
John, are there any special instructions for caring for a piece once you take it home that's horsehair fired?
Ooh, good question, Megan. Good question. Yes. I've got samples of a couple of things here that I'll show you. Dina, let's move over to the other table. We'll let these cool down. I'm going to spray this just before we leave.
And thanks to Dina for the wonderful camera work.
Oh, good. Yeah, great. You're doing good. They said thank you, Dina.
Oh, okay.
I've got my my phone is hooked to my Wi-Fi on my camera, so she can't hear you. We'll let that go for a second. We'll go over to the other table. These are some pieces that I've done before. I did several lamps that are horse-haired pieces for the American Saddlebred Museum in Lexington, Kentucky. And they've put them out on their web page. And so I've got one left here that hasn't sold, but they've sold several of my horsehair pieces already. So let me get out of the light here so that you'll be able to see some of these. So Megan, to your question, I have two things that I use. I use a wax, clean off the piece with just a rag to get all of the carbon and stuff off the piece, and then I'll wax it with just regular floor wax. This wax I put on, came out of Amazon the other day. I had a
John,
bunch of. Yeah,
we're
go ahead.
getting some feedback. I'm not sure where it's coming from.
Okay.
He's too close.
I might be too close.
Alan says you're too close.
Okay. Let me get this back a ways, and then I'll step back. Is that any better?
That sounds good.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so
good.
you got the wax.
Yeah. So we'll use regular paste wax. And I had a group of boys over last week, and we did horsehair. There was about 6 or 7 of them. We did horsehair, and then they used regular paste wax. I like this resistance wax that I buy from the wood shop on 281, and can't remember the name of it now, but there's a wood place 281, and I think it's Henderson Pass. It's right there, but I buy
That's Wood Crafters.
Wood Crafters. That's the name of it. Yeah, I buy it from them. It's quite expensive. It costs like, this was $30 for this little bit, but it doesn't turn green. It doesn't turn yellow like some of the waxes will over a period of time. So I use this if I'm waxing. But then I've gone to regular clear glaze that is from Krylon, and I spray a quick coat on the pieces with this, and they turn this glossy color that you see on this piece. That was sprayed versus one of these pieces. This piece here was waxed, so you can see the difference in the two pieces. But either or preserves it to a point that you get the dust off of it real easy when you get it back to the house. So these two pieces have mica on the top of them. And I like that chattering effect that I get when I do that. This piece is just a horsehair piece that has been sprayed with the clear glaze. And I don't think I put any feathers on this piece. I didn't. Pieces as far as sales are concerned, this piece might run anywhere from $65 to $75, maybe a little more. These smaller pieces are probably a $35 to $45 range as far as I'm concerned. If you go out to Etsy, there's probably other prices there that might be a little higher than what I would be selling them for. I wanted to show you the mica real quick. This comes from TCB mica, and this is the colored mica that you can see. And it's especially mica, whereas the interference mica is just, this color is lavender, but it's just white. To get the right color on it, you'd have to put it on a piece of black paper, just a little of it on the black paper, and it would show up as the color of the mica. So I'm experimenting. Roadrunner has mica also. You can buy from Roadrunner. And they have pieces that when they're, a couple days ago, they had some pieces that they horsehaired. And they had some real nice color from their mica. I'm just not there yet. I don't know what they've done. Randy Broadneck does this all the time with his pieces, and he uses the interference mica. What else can I tell you?
Any special kind of clay that you need to use for this, or Brock asked if any light clay will work.
Any white clay should work. You might consider the amount of grog that the clay has in it. You want less grog, and because you want to be able to burnish the piece so that it looks nice and soft and clear, versus if you have grande or clay with a lot of grog, you're not going to get the finish that I like on the piece. You might like it. It's up to the artist for sure. But I like to use Dillo White, works real good. And B-Mix Cone 5 or Cone 10 works real good because you can burnish it real good. But you have to consider the loss of it when you fire it and pull it out of the fire at 1600 degrees, and it might be 40 or 50 degrees outside. So you might lose pieces that way. When I had the boys over last week, it was at night, so I lighted up the backyard enough that they could see their pieces and do their pieces, and it was all clay that I think it was all B-Mix, and we didn't lose anything, so it was great. And I think the secret is to have the heat on the turntable, have a piece that's already hot. If you have to heat it up with a torch, that's okay. Just so that you've got something that hot piece is going to go to a hot brick or a piece of shell. I was going to show you the terracig. This is terracig, and I just made a bunch of terracig yesterday. I pulled it out yesterday from Gold Art ball clay. And this particular recipe is a Pinnell recipe that is just OM4 ball clay and what else have I got in? I wrote it down for you. OM4 ball clay and water and sodium silicate. So the OM4 ball clay is 14 pounds. The water is 3.5 pounds or gallons. And the sodium silicate is about 3 tablespoons of sodium silicate. You mix the water and the sodium silicate together first, and then you put in the OM4 ball clay. And I cut this recipe in half because my container just holds 7 pounds of OM4 ball clay versus the almost 2 gallons of water. Then I let it set for 48 hours, and then I siphon off the top ring. That you can tell the difference right away as you look into a glass container or a plastic container. And you want the middle section of, that's the terracig. So you siphon off the top and go to the second section. That's what you want. And then quit siphoning when you get to the third section, because that's just all of the gunk and the clay that is settled in the bottom. And then it'll last you, a half a gallon of this will last you for a long, long time. And it'll settle, and then you can just mix it up again and use it for your next pieces when you want to do it 3 months or 6 months from now. So it won't age. Another thing that I use on pieces is this wax material that you can buy at Roadrunner, and it is it's a wax material, and if you have an imperfection on your raku pieces, you can use this wax on raku to do it. I like to take it and just put it around the top. If the top is real thick and has some imperfections, I can put this around to make it, and it sort of matches with, it matches the top or the raku or the horsehair piece, and gets rid of some of the imperfections that might be on the top. And it's just a wax, it'll harden, and you'll never, it won't come off. It won't come off. So I love to use that. There's different colors. I like the gold because it matches the horsehair that I'm doing. But there's also blue and red, and there's 3 or 4 other colors that Roadrunner has also. So if you're doing a lot of raku, you have some mistakes on the raku piece, you're going to throw it away. Get some of this and apply it in different areas of the piece so it looks like it's meshed in, and it's a good trick to do.
Do you treat the inside of the pieces with anything other than just the carbon from the toilet paper?
I use the carbon, and if it's dark enough, I'll let it go. If it's real light, I'll use India ink and put India ink on the inside of the piece. A lot of times, this one is probably good enough to go with just the black that's there, the carbon that's there. But sometimes you won't get the good black look, and so I use India ink and just paint it with India ink, and that gives us a real nice black on the piece. And I normally will do India ink on the bottom of my piece also. Instead of putting a piece of paper on the brick that I have here, I'll do India ink, which gives it a good final look to the piece. And then I sign my name in gold, a gold pen or a silver pen, depending on what I'm doing, to sort of finish it off. So let's go back to the piece that I did and put on the shelf. Let's go back over here. Let's take this piece here.
This one.
I'm going to just wipe this piece off, and the carbon from the horsehair just sort of wipes off. You could take and wet it if you want and wash it off, but I think there's no sense to that because you're just getting all the carbon and stuff out of it to finish. So this piece is ready to be waxed or to be, it's a little hot still on the bottom, so I'll let that set before I put any wax or any of the clear glaze on it. But other questions? I've made some tongs also that I use when I pull the pieces out. These are just barbecue tongs, forks actually, and I've just turned them so that when I get in, I can get in and pick that piece up like this. I don't need the raku tongs if I don't want to use them. And so just another thing that as you go out to the secondhand store and you see an old used fork, pick it up, and that you'll make yourself a tong as long as your piece has a good grasp on the inside and stuff. Just another trick that'll save you some money. Regular tongs cost about $80, so if you can buy a $2 fork and make it, that'll work for you. Any other questions I can answer?
None in the chat, but if anybody has more questions, feel free to unmute yourself or put them in the chat.
And you're more than welcome to email me if you're as you get into it and are doing something with it, and have a question, well, email me or call me, and I'd be more than happy to explain what we're doing. How I do it, you may find a way to do it even better than what I would do it, type of a thing. But it's always good to share what we have and what we've been doing.
John, I have a question of you. And remember, I don't know nothing about clay hardly. The gorgeous purples and red colors on your pieces that I always admire, does that come from any of these techniques, or is that just a glaze color?
It's probably a glaze color from the raku pieces that I do.
Okay.
There's 2 or 3 different combinations of glazes that I use to try to get those that goldish color, aluminum color, that type.
We can't hear you.
Oh, yeah, those are from raku probably. And I use copper glaze. It's called Black 8. I use a lot of Black 8 glaze when I do raku. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think the wind just picked up. And
Might have been.
Brock asked if you're gonna have a
Yeah,
raku session.
I love raku also, so it's good. It's fun to do. So no more questions.
Has anybody else done horsehair firing before that's on the call?
Now, I have another question though.
Brock said yes. Brock has done it. Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead.
I noticed that when you took the pot out of your kiln and you left the kiln lid off for just a few seconds, and then you quickly put it back in again. I have a kiln I built, which is a raised up and down type kiln. And whenever I open the kiln up and take pieces out of it, we have to leave the kiln in the open position so that we can get the pieces out. It drops temperature so fast, it's unbelievable. Any suggestions?
I would experiment with raising your kiln up, pulling 1 or 2 pieces, and if you've got 5 pieces in there, put the top back down on it and bring it back up to temperature, because it'll drop 300-400 degrees in just a matter of seconds.
Yeah. Okay,
And
that's
that's
like
why-
a good suggestion.
Yeah, I normally will pull a piece or maybe 2 pieces, and then I always heat it back up and do a refire on those. I let the burner just keep burning, and let it come back up to temperature. And by the time I get 1 piece done, I'm normally back up to temperature so I can do it 1 more time and just keep doing it that way. But I would experiment with that, Brock, and see what you can do by just pulling a piece. And then you burn more gas that way, but you want your pieces that are still in the kiln, that are the last pieces you're going to pull, you want them to be at temperature when you pull them.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hey, John, I didn't hear the answer. Are you going to have a raku session sometime?
I certainly could. I think the raku session I've had some things at Robert Escamilla's studio where we've had a couple of workshops. It takes a couple of days normally to put on a good workshop, because it takes 1 day to glaze and then 1 day to fire. But we could certainly, as COVID deteriorates, we could certainly set something up where we're doing a guild-sponsored type of raku workshop. I think that would be fun, whether it's in my backyard or at Escamilla's or someplace else. And once we get out of this pandemic, I think we could certainly do that.
Who all would be interested in a raku workshop?
I would be interested in that. I'd also wouldn't mind doing it at my own house.
That's
Okay.
But
Brock and Beth And
And Mark.
And Mark.
I've got a kiln, but to come up to my place, you got to drive all the way up to Canyon Lake. I'm willing to go down to San Antonio. If people are interested in coming up to my place, then that's a possibility in the future too.
But let's keep that in mind, Joe. That may be something we can put together down the road.
And what would be the difference doing it, say at Robert Escamilla's place versus say the Sarah Shore stuff? I just want to be sure I can schedule something that's not just the same.
Yeah. You know, I haven't. I've just seen pictures of Facebook stuff of Sarah, what Sarah does. She does a lot of barrel firing, I think, and
Yes.
aluminum foil sagger and stuff. But if we want to do raku with glazes, you know, we'd have to have the glaze formulas mixed, and I've got a bunch of off-the-shelf stuff, and so it'd just be a little different
Okay.
operation than probably Sarah's.
Super. Thank you for the
Stuff, so-
explanation.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. Keep. I'm in the phone book or the directory on the Guild Facebook page and stuff. So you're welcome to give me a call if you need to. If you need some questions answered or whatever, I'm willing to share what I know. That's for sure.
I have one last question of you. Would you be willing to hold up what you were calling ferry chloride or
Sure,
ferrous
sure, sure.
chloride?
Let me
I never did
grab
understand the first word.
Yeah, let me get the bottle out of the chest.
While he's walking over there, would anybody be willing to pay for a raku workshop in some form? So Brock is saying yes. Okay. I mean, I don't know what's reasonable. Because John is obviously an experienced teacher.
Well, I don't know everything, but I'll give you what I know, and then the experimentation on your own is a great thing also. So we can maybe talk about it and put something together. This is the ferric chloride. It's FERRIC chloride, and it comes in a gallon, and this is a half gallon, and it comes also in quarts. It's actually a material it's an etchant material that they use in computerization chips and stuff like that. It's also used as a water in water solutions and stuff too. So you're drinking ferric chloride at some percentage when you drink water, because it's purification. It's a purification agent for water. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, thanks. That's
And-
fascinating.
And did you say you diluted that 50% with water?
Yes. I always have two containers out, Brock. I have a 50% solution, and then I have a 100% solution. And you get different effects, and you have to sort of work with it to see what the best effect is with the little sprayer that I buy the sprayer at Home Depot or Lowe's. And it just depends on what you like. You know, you might like just the 50% solution or 75% solution, you know, type of thing as you work with it.
But it's 50% of what's in that bottle, which says 43% solution. Right.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions from people?
Quick question. The jar that's underneath the sprayer, does that come with the sprayer?
Yes, it does. You can buy just the spray bottle, just the sprayer, or you can buy the whole thing with the bottle. So I always have a couple of just the sprayers available for me, because if this sprayer goes out, I've still got a solution here, that I can just unscrew this and put a new sprayer on the piece. So it's no biggie.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, guys, this has been fun. I've appreciated you coming on board and letting me do a couple pieces for you.
Thank you very
John
much.
is-
It was awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks,
They
John.
look great.
Beautiful.
You bet.
Thanks, John.
gorgeous
enjoyed doing
work.
Thank you. I enjoyed
Thank you
doing
so
it.
much, John.
You bet.
You want to
Appreciate
do
you
a
guys.
plug for Empty Bowls before you go?
Yeah, definitely. I would. We're this year's Empty Bowls. We're doing donor bowls, which is about a 3-pound bowl, a larger salad bowl, and then some larger bowls that may be 5 pounds or 4 pounds, something like that. Maybe 14-inch or 12-inch wide, whatever.
We
you
can't-
decide.
Can you talk into the phone more?
The wind's blowing real bad here. So
I
let
think
me-
it's the
let me
wind.
grab- Yeah. Let me
You
grab the
sort
phone.
of, you dropped off as you said the donor bowl's 3 to 5 pounds.
Yeah, donor bowls are about 2.5, 3 pounds. And we use those bowls to give to the people, the businesses that will donate something to the Empty Bowls project, like the food and stuff. And then the larger bowls are ones that they're going to put out on a table when and if we have an Empty Bowls event, and sell them for more than the $25 for the normal soup bowls that we would have out. So the donor bowl or the larger bowls might be a good size salad bowl, something of that nature, using your artistic ability to decorate it and make it look fancy. The nice thing about it is that I put money through the guild over at Roadrunner. And so if you want a bag of clay, on the clay that you're using in your studio, we'll go to next time you're at Roadrunner, tell them you want a bag of the guild's Empty Bowls on the guild's Empty Bowls account. And they will, you can buy a bag on our account and then make on Potter's honor, just make several bowls from that. And when you're done with those, you can take them back over to Roadrunner, box them up before you take them over, and Roadrunner will store them for us and let me or Steve Reitman know that they're there, and we'll pick them up and take them over to storage. And so that just helps us out. We'd like to get about 50 large bowls and 30 or more donor bowls. I've already got about 15 donor bowls made, so we just need a few more donor bowls, and we'll have met what Empty Bowls Sam Ministries people think they need. Just on a side note, our church yesterday did baskets for Sam Ministries for all of the women that go into their homes. They have 233 homes and apartments around town that they put families into. And then they'll move the families in and out of the apartments or homes when they feel like they're ready to go out in the world. And so the church, we put together some mother type things in baskets and put together 30 of them yesterday for a service project, which was fun. We had a great time out in our pavilion. And we haven't seen the church people in a long time. So it was one of those, hey, this is a great thing to see people and be able to talk to people with masks on and stuff. So we had a good time to put together the boxes. But I hope everybody has a good Christmas, good holiday season. Like I say, if you need information, give me a shout, and I'll be more than happy to share my knowledge with you, as little as I've got anyway.
Hey, John.
Yes.
John, I've been making some bowls for empty bowls and boxing them up here at home. Should I just keep them until you call for them?
You can do that if you want, Rich, or if they get in your way, let me know and we'll coordinate with Steve and take them over to storage.
Okay,
That way they're out of your way.
that's all right. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you bet. Thanks for doing that.
Mhm.
Any other
Okay.
questions of John?
Thank you so much.
You bet. I enjoyed it, guys. The day.
John, not only are you an amazing potter, but you're such a great contributor to the community. You know,
Oh,
you
thank you.
make all of us look good leading the Empty Bowls project every year.
Well,
Mhm.
that's, I'm getting, this is actually my birthday today, so.
Oh, no, happy
yeah.
birthday.
Well, thank you.
Oh my
Happy
gosh,
39th.
happy birthday.
I'm actually feeling it today.
Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy your next 30th birthday.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I was there at 30. But you guys have a good day. I appreciate you chiming in.
Wow, thanks, John, and thanks again to Dina too. That was really
I will.
helpful.
Well, thank you, Megan.
Nice
Yeah,
to see
thank you, John.
everybody.
Thank you, Megan.
So we'll send you the next program announcement sometime soon. We're talking about starting to space them out a little bit, maybe quarterly or something, just because we're not getting, everybody's getting sort of Zoom fatigue, and a lot of people make a reservation and then don't show up. So if you have suggestions, be sure and let me know, both on timing or on programs you'd like to see. I'd appreciate it.
And I'm a new guild member, so this was my first event, so it was fun.
Good. Glad you
Welcome.
enjoyed it. We'll depend on you to put on our next program.
You don't want that.
That's always what happens. As soon as
Well,
you're
I
a new
would talk
person,
to
you're now
Mark
the
before
president.
about doing programs, so he'd be a good volunteer for the next one too.
That's great.
You're pointing
That's
the
great.
finger at me?
You heard your name, Mark.
Yes, I heard my name. I can think of something I can do.
Yeah, you better, because the Bally's keep suggesting you.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
You can't trust your friends.
I know. You better be careful. But so if you can come up with something, let me know, because I don't have anything scheduled for the next few months, and I'd love to add something that people would be of interest to everyone. And you do
I've
kind of
got a couple.
work, so it'd be good.
I have a couple of ideas, Jill. And if you give me a couple of weeks, I will get back to you with those ideas. And if we can do them
Okay.
as a Zoom, it'd be great.
I'll send you an email with how to contact me.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
thanks, John, again.
Yeah,
It was wonderful.
You bet. Glad you liked it, and we'll talk to you later. You guys have a good Christmas.
All righty.
All
Merry
right,
Everybody have a
Christmas.
good holiday.
bye.
Bye.
Thank you,
So
Megan.
long.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And Megan, thanks for recording it. That's one that would be really interesting on the website.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Nope.
this was easy.
Nobody is coming to my house and doing neck rubs. This is unfair.
Alan did join in a little bit late, but he was in the kitchen, so
Yeah. So thank
all
you
right.
all very much.
Yeah, thanks, Jill. We'll see you
Okay.
soon.
Bye.